Okay, the drywall has been cut and placed. And in this video, I'm going to kind of go over, just show you how the drywall joint compound is applied. And you got to get it into the corners. Try and squeeze it into the corners there. You can see the gaps. And I have the mud a little closer to the point on the corner trowel. If I just dipped my trowel in, and pardon about the phasing out, automatic focus, not much on, I need to get another camera, that is for sure. But anyway, these are one-shot videos. I make them and can't go back and fix them again. No redos. But I've been having problems with this. I'm going to try and make some more videos of me doing something. There you can see me squeezing it into the gaps there, trying to get it into the corners. You want to have I'm going to use paper tape here. If I was using fiberglass tape, I'd put the fiberglass tape on first, but I like paper tape. Gives me a nice corner. And I've already have the paper tape ripped to length. Once I have enough of it on there, you need, it's kind of like an adhesive, you need to have a base coat of plaster or joint compound on there. And then simply put a little bit on the trowel. You don't have to put any joint compound on the trowel. You can simply run it through if you want not to have it on there. And this is the first coat, remember. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to make sure that the paper doesn't have any gaps in between it and the drywall or the joint compound. And it kind of gives you a good idea. If you finish everything and let it dry for a day, or when it's dry, you'll see the paper tape actually separate. And that'll tell you that you didn't do it right, and that might need to be redone. So again, I'm just going with a corner there, getting the joint compound on. And this, I'm not using topping, I'm using joint compound here. I already got the paper, and this is going to be cut a little bit longer than the damage. So you can see there, it's a little bit longer. I might need to put a little more plaster on there, or joint compound. Sorry, joint compound, plaster. Too used to calling it that, even though I was never a plasterer. I'd like to say I was never a drywaller, but I have done too much drywall to say that. I might not be as fast as these people that do it every day, but definitely get the job done. Now, I already did the repair, so I can say that it turned out great. Can't even tell that any damage was done. Automatic focus on the camera there. So now I'm going to use the fiberglass tape. I like using the fiberglass tape for the flat breaks and not the corners. And you can put the fiberglass tape on first and then put the corner paper tape on if you want. You can put it on like that. You can fill the stuff. It's not necessary. The fiberglass tape is usually a self-adhesive tape. It'll stick to, has a little bit of sticky stuff on it. It'll stick to the drywall, no problem. I say that, but sometimes when it gets old, it doesn't. So I'll be narrating at this. We're on 3 minutes right here. This is an 11-minute video. So if I pause every once in a while, it'll be because I ran out of something to say, right? So there I am filling the gaps, and then I got to get enough on. You can see where the edge of the painted surface there. That's going to have to be covered up. You're going to have to get enough of the compound on to, and again, with the fiberglass tape, it's not the same as the paper tape. I say that. So with the paper tape, you would need to cover everything. With the fiberglass tape, it basically, it doesn't need, it's not the same application method. And again, like I said, I could have put this on first instead of doing it. But then if I put it on, sometimes I can't fill the gaps very easy. So fill the gaps first, and then put the joint or the fiberglass tape on if you can. And that's looking pretty good there. putting another surface on. And for me, I like to get, you don't have to do it. You can actually let something like this dry, come back the next time. But in order to minimize the amount of times I put the drywall joint compound on, I want to try and get as much as I can on and get as flat of a surface as I possibly can, so that the next time I put it on, it will won't take as many times to do it. So if you put a little bit on and then put a little bit more on, it's just like anything else. Pretty soon you have you know, you've spent 5 days working on it. And if you don't know, okay, now this is, I use a pool finishing trowel. A little rust there, what can I say? Okay, I went and cleaned the rust off of the trowel with some sandpaper. Now I'm ready to go again. And you can use square trowels, you can use other types of trowels. I don't know what, for whatever reason, the pool trowel seems to work good, or the trowel with rounded corners for me. I've been using it for a long time. And you can always use the larger drywall knives too, but I haven't had as good a luck as I had with these trowels. So again, use whatever you have or whatever you're comfortable using. And I'm just kind of going over the areas and flattening it out. You don't want to put too much on. You just want enough on to cover up the fiberglass tape or the paper tape. And if I was to tell you how much, you know, it's hard to say. A 32nd of an inch should be enough for something like that. But you want to try and get it flat. And you can actually change direction. See how I'm going this way and then going that way? You can go in from right to left. And then if I was to say right to left, let's say you could go east to west and then north to south kind of a thing with a trowel. And I'm going to want to cover this up. Otherwise, if I don't flatten or blend the edge of the painted surface where I tore the texture off, then there would be a line there. So you're going to want to fill this also. And again, it's not that difficult. If the mud drywall joint compound isn't going on smooth enough, you can always wet it down a little bit. Don't get it too wet though. But and you can always, they have like I call them the big potato mashers, and you can always use those, or put it in a bucket and use a mixer. But it's got to be a low RPM drill that you use. You can't, I believe it's not over 300 revolutions per minute. Otherwise you can, I think it traps air in the drywall mixture, but again, I'm not sure on that. I just know it can't spin really fast. And the reason why I'm pointing that out is because this is one of those things that could make all the difference in the world when you're drywalling. You're watching me do it and everything's going on smooth, but if you're fighting it and struggling with it, sometimes all you gotta do is add a little bit of water and then you're like a professional. Everything's going great. And again, this is a real-time video. I just wanted to make something that you could see the entire process instead of cutting in and out and doing it that way. So again, I'm just kind of flattening it out. And when I feel like I got enough on there and it's I don't have too many lines in there. And if you do have lines, you have ridges from it, you can sand them out. So don't feel bad if you have a line, like you can see a line, I just went over and flattened it out. If you were to leave that, then you could just grab the sander, the hand sander, and sand it flat, and then start putting the plaster on again. I've actually seen people put the, now I'm taking the stuff off the edge, I just want it in the center. Just want it in the center there when I go over this. And as I was saying before, I've seen people put this stuff on and then just sand it flat. And that might be the method that you can use. Again, my videos are meant to try and make this process as easy and understandable as you possibly can. You can see I'm not a professional movie maker, but hopefully one day I'll be a little better at it than this. That's why I think I'm going to get a different camera. So that is it for this video. I am going to do another video where I put the second layer on after this one dries. And the last part of the video here, I'm just trying to get this corner. These corners are hard to get sometimes. You can't, or I should say for me at least, they might be easier for you or a little more difficult. So anyway, I'll put a link here to the next video.